To confirm that his younger brother was still alive, he took advantage of the cover of night, gathered his tools, and quietly made his way to the cemetery where his brother Mike was buried. But the moment he opened the coffin, Lincoln was so terrified that he collapsed to the ground. Sure enough, his brother's body was not inside. Clutching Mike's favorite suit jacket, Lincoln's emotions raged within him for a long time. Hope reignited deep within him. Carrying the jacket, he set off, silently vowing to find Mike no matter what. But just as he was waiting at a traffic light, something strange happened. The light had clearly turned green long ago, yet the driver in the adjacent lane showed no sign of moving. Unexpectedly, with just a few taps on a computer, the other driver caused Lincoln's car to suddenly lurch forward. Even though he slammed on the brakes immediately, the car didn't slow down at all. As he watched the speed increase, Lincoln, in a panic, steadied the steering wheel while unbuckling his seatbelt. Fortunately, he managed to escape just in the nick of time before the car plunged into the river. Having narrowly escaped death, Lincoln hadn't even had time to relax after getting ashore when he noticed the driver of the red car had actually followed him. Fortunately, he managed to hide behind a large tree just in time, temporarily avoiding danger. But this incident served as a wake-up call for Lincoln. He immediately told his brother's ex-wife Sara about his discovery at the cemetery and the fact that he'd just been followed and chased. Clearly, someone didn't want him to know that Mike was still alive. But before Lincoln could finish speaking, Sara saw a black pickup truck pull up slowly in front of her house. A woman got out, holding a gun, and walked straight toward the house. Sara quickly told Jacob to fetch the pistol hidden in the study. While calling the police, she rushed upstairs. Her greatest concern at that moment was her son's safety. The female assassin had already entered the house. Completely unaware of the situation, Jacob grabbed the pistol he'd found and rushed upstairs, shouting Sara's name. But just as he reached the top of the stairs, he came face to face with the assassin. Hearing her husband's screams, Sara quickly took her son and hid in the bathroom. She tore the towel rack from the wall and gripped it tightly, ready to fight the assassin to the death as the footsteps outside grew closer and closer. Sara held her breath. Just as the situation reached a critical point, the sound of police sirens echoed in the distance. Realizing there was no time left to carry out the assassination, the female assassin had no choice but to temporarily abandon her mission. She drove away from the scene. Only after confirming the assassin had left did Sara dare to step out of the bathroom with her son. Seeing that Jacob was still alive, she finally felt at ease. She quickly administered first aid to his wounds. Lincoln rushed to the hospital immediately. The attack had a profound impact on Sara's son, and Lincoln felt deeply guilty. He believed he had brought danger into this once peaceful family. He intended to comfort Sara's son, but he didn't expect his younger brother's son to be far smarter than he had imagined. Lincoln then shared his plan. He hoped Sara would join him in Yemen to search for Mike, but the stubborn Sara remained convinced that Mike was dead. After all, if he were truly alive, why hadn't he shown up in all these years? He hadn't even visited his own son once, let alone now that Sara had started a new family, and her husband Jacob was still fighting for his life in the emergency room. She immediately rejected Lincoln's proposal, and seeing this, Lincoln did not press the matter further. As for the person Lincoln mentioned, it was none other than Benjamin, who had been missing for years. He had become a devout believer, and the reason Lincoln sought him out was that Benjamin had served in the military and participated in wars in the Middle East, making him relatively familiar with the situation there. After explaining his purpose, Lincoln handed Benjamin a photo of Mike. With just a single glance, Benjamin recognized the prison as a facility specifically designed to hold terrorists and political prisoners. The mastermind behind staging Mike's fake death and smuggling him into that prison must be someone of significant standing. Based on the background features in the photo, Benjamin's colleagues quickly confirmed that the building behind Mike was the Al-Aqsa Mosque. On the map, it was very close to Oghasia prison, with nothing obstructing the view between them, proof enough that the photo was genuine, meaning Mike was indeed being held there. However, when Benjamin called the Yemeni prison to inquire, they replied that there was no prisoner named Mike at all. Lincoln immediately surmised that Mike must be using a false identity. They had planned to retrieve Mike's old photos from Fox River prison to send to the Yemeni prison for verification. Strangely, however, when they entered Mike's name into the system, the photos that appeared were of a complete stranger. Even the employee photos from the company where Mike had once worked had all been replaced with images of this unknown man. Clearly, someone had deliberately erased every trace of Mike's existence. Lincoln realized he had to get to Yemen as soon as possible. Seeing that Lincoln could wait no longer, Benjamin rushed to stop him. Yemen had been ravaged by civil war for years, and now the entire country was on the brink of collapse. For an American who didn't speak Arabic to go there recklessly would be a suicide mission, but Lincoln insisted on going. As long as he could rescue Mike, even if it meant certain death, he had to give it a try. Meanwhile, T-Bag, who had been about to turn on his computer to watch a cartoon, suddenly saw a hospital appointment email pop up on his screen, notifying him to meet at the Prosthetics Research Center at 9:30 p.m. T-Bag was very puzzled. He had never made an appointment with any doctor. He realized this might be related to that photo of Mike he had received earlier. earlier. So that evening, he rushed to the hospital at the appointed time. But the doctor knew nothing about the photo. He simply explained that an anonymous donor had provided a large sum of money to support his research on smart prosthetics. The donor's only condition was that Teabag be the first to benefit from this technology. Although Teabag sensed something was off, the doctor described the device as this smart prosthesis could be controlled directly by the brain, and once fitted, would be virtually indistinguishable from a natural limb. Teabag was tempted, so he agreed without hesitation to undergo the prosthesis installation. However, just before the surgery began, Teabag instinctively refused the anesthetic. He didn't want to lose his sense of security. But this wasn't that pet hospital. This procedure simply couldn't be performed without general anesthesia. More importantly, the doctor made it clear that he was aware of Teabag's past and would not cross him. Upon hearing this, Teabag finally closed his eyes with peace of mind to undergo the procedure. When he opened them again, the surgery had been successfully completed. He wiggled his brand new mechanical arm. Ever the skeptic, Teabag's first reaction wasn't joy, but suspicion that the doctor had secretly implanted something else inside him. He immediately pressed the doctor for the identity of the mastermind behind it all. Meanwhile, Lincoln had put on Mike's favorite suit jacket. As he stood in front of the mirror, thinking of his brother, a dark figure suddenly appeared at the doorway. To his surprise, it was his good friend Sucre. He had received word from Benjamin and had rushed over specifically to join Lincoln in searching for Mike. Although Lincoln was deeply moved, Sucre had always been his most loyal friend. He didn't want Sucre to get involved in this. After all, even he wasn't confident he could successfully rescue Mike. But Sucre had already made up his mind to go. Just as the two were arguing, Benjamin unexpectedly appeared in the airport lobby. He too was concerned for Lincoln's safety and had come to join him on the trip to Yemen. Unlike Sucre, however, Benjamin was not only familiar with the local situation in Yemen, but also spoke fluent Arabic. Most importantly, he knew people at the mosque who could provide the necessary assistance for Lincoln's mission. Hearing this, Sucre realized that taking Benjamin along was undoubtedly the better choice. So Benjamin said his goodbyes and left, and so Lincoln and Benjamin set off on their journey. What they didn't know was that the female assassin who had previously tracked Lincoln and infiltrated Sara's home was watching their every move from a short distance away. Clearly, this journey was destined to be anything but straightforward from the very start. The moment they stepped off the plane, they felt the palpable atmosphere of war. Everyone was desperately fleeing the country, and they were the only two arriving. Fortunately, they soon spotted the people sent to meet them. But as soon as they left, a middle-aged man appeared holding a sign with their names on it, a development they were completely unaware of. It wasn't until the old man led them to a warehouse that they finally realized something was wrong. As a group of men with ill intent closed in on the two of them, Benjamin immediately grabbed a steel pipe and tossed a hammer to Lincoln. The two sides were instantly locked in combat. Though Lincoln was no spring chicken, his movements remained agile, and even with his white cap on, Benjamin was no pushover. In just a few exchanges, they had taken down the entire gang. Afterward, Lincoln discovered photos of himself and Benjamin on their phones and finally realized that the two of them had long been under surveillance. Just then, Sheba, the one truly responsible for their pickup, arrived on the scene. It turned out that the contact Sheba had arranged at the airport had followed them all the way there after seeing them get into the wrong car. To be on the safe side, the entire group discarded their phones to avoid being tracked again.